This guy, he is a retired Navy, 20 years. All right, he was a nuclear submarine repairer. This is his bucket list, and you're about to see why, but you guys gotta clap really loud so you hear it. All right, let's give it up for Jersey Joe.
This is exciting. I'll tell you what, it's really exciting to be here. Jersey Joe from Jersey City. And I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I married my wife 30 years ago. Well, we've been together for 30 years. She's from Flushing, Queens, New York, right? So we got Jersey City and Flushing, Queens. The biggest thing we have in common is we do some good arguments. We can really get into it. Like I said, my wife gives the best argument of all the women I've been with. And anyway, you just got that one, huh? And the fun thing about us is I do something really special. She actually prayed when she was back in New York there. She prayed for her knight in shining armor, or basically her soulmate. Her soulmate. For 12 years she prayed. You got that? 12 years she prayed for her soulmate, and bam, you're looking at it, a 5'8" bald Italian guy. So what I say to you, watch what you pray for, women. Watch what you pray for, you'll liable to get it. And she tells everyone that I am the best husband in the whole world. She tells all her friends. And it's embarrassing for me sometimes, because I go with her and she's, oh, my loving husband, I love him. He's just so precious. And she tells all her, she says, I have him, I tell you, my husband is so good that he watches Hallmark movies and Bachelor with me, right? It's the best. And it's embarrassing for me sometimes when we go out, you know, because I feel bad for the other husbands, you know? So anyway, I'll give you a hint. I'm going to tell what I want to do is just tell you guys here the secret of what it is, because it is a secret. My father taught this to me, right? The secret is a couple tokes of medical marijuana, and you're just happy as can be watching The Bachelor and The Bachelorette and Hallmark movies. We did. The fun thing, the difference between The Bachelor and The Bachelor, like night and day. It's like night and day. Now, the Hallmark movies are fun. I like Hallmark movies because they have what they call the almost kiss. Do we have women in here who actually watch that stuff? And does your husband watch it with you? Anyway, the almost kiss, what they do is they come to a predicament or a space where they get close to each other. They're close enough so you can see they move closer and closer, and you can tell they're actually within distance of smelling each other's breath, you know? And right before they kiss, bam, something comes in. It's either the dog or the mother-in-law, the grandfather, the uncle walks in there, and they never kiss until the end of the movie. And the end of the movie, the kiss that they have at Hallmark is, it basically, the guy comes over, he walks over to her slowly, goes down to his knee, he brings out the ring, he proposes marriage, and then he gets up and gives her a sweet kiss. Right? Hallmark movies. Great stuff. Now let's talk about The Bachelor. And I've been having so much fun with The Bachelorette here lately, is because Hannah, if anybody, oh, you know Hannah, don't you? Hannah's my favorite because she did something unique. She developed this technique. It goes something like this here. When she meets someone, whether it's in the beginning of the Bachelorette or the end, she runs towards them, she jumps in the air, she throws her leg around them, and then does the tongue kiss. It's like crazy. It's freaking me out, you know? It freaks me out because I'm sort of a clean freak. So it's, and what happens is I watch most of this stuff. I watch the Bachelor and the Bachelorette with a toothbrush in my hand. And all through it, every time I'm going like crazy. So it's disgusting. Anyway, I love it. I love to watch it with my wife. And I'm looking at her, and you know, and like on Hallmark movies, it's fun. At the end of the movie, I told you about that kiss that's really sweet and everything. I'd look over at my wife, and there she is. She's puckering up and stuff like that. So I don't know if I have to do something at that time or not. I have no idea. So, as I told you, bacteria, bacteria, bacteria. I looked it up on Google. Where else can you get that information? On kissing, when you're using your tongue. And did you know that when you use your tongue to kiss, 80 million bacteria goes in your mouth? And if you watch this latest one, Hannah is basically kissing 3 or 4 guys a day. That's 320 million bacteria in a mouth. Is that crazy or what? I know that in between the scenes that they're shooting, the medic is in the back giving her shots of penicillin and whatever it takes to keep her from getting all these crazy diseases. Let's talk about the date. The date of Hallmark movies. That's really, and anybody watch Hallmark movies in here? Please give me 1 or 2, because it's really cool. Hallmark movies are something, because when they have a date, usually, the one thing I have to say about Hallmark movies so you understand is the 2 people meeting, they're meeting at an older age, right? And usually one or both of them have been married before. So when they meet, one of them has a deceased spouse. And in the Hallmark movie, anyone with a deceased spouse is like getting the golden buzzer at the what's that thing, you know? Which one? America's Got Talent, the golden buzzer. So it's crazy. It's when they get together. But how like I said, it's usually dealing with the kid. They'll get with the kid of the other spouse, and they're baking. Usually they're baking for some kind of event. Either it's going to be the Boys and Girls Club or something like that there, or the kids' dance routine or something, they're baking. And all the time, and correct me if I'm wrong, you people who watch this here, there's always flour on the face of someone. Am I right? You know I am. You know, and then it comes to, they spot the flower, the other person, and it's either 1 finger, or sometimes when they're really brazen, 2 fingers to lightly brush the flour off their face, right? So they lightly brush it off, and then they're coming again. They're sort of moving a little bit closer to each other, and then they realize what's happening. Oh God, and they feel dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. They almost kissed or something before the end of the movie without the ring and the kneeling. It's crazy. Now let's talk about The Bachelor. Like I said, traditionally it starts, I don't have to go into detail, but it starts with the run, the jump, the leg, the tongue, right? That starts it off. And if they're going on a date, their date is usually something like they get into a helicopter or a private jet and they fly off someplace, and they're out there and they're having all this great fun, you know, and then what happens at the end, it's either going to be the rose or no rose. And everyone knows in The Bachelor, someone's going to cry. And I've never seen so many men crying in my whole life as what's on The Bachelor. I mean, I grew up in Jersey City, you know, and I would never go out with a bunch of guys and someone gets rejected and I don't know what I did wrong. What can I do? You know, it's crazy. I don't want to get into it. I see we got some what I call Jerry Boomers down here. That's the geriatric group, which I'm going to talk about in a second, because we should have a program like that, right? Like instead of The Bachelor, Bachelorette, it should be geriatric, Bachelor, or Bachelorette, or what I call the Jerry Boomers. And so anyway, at the end they had that. So the next thing is on the rose side, or we did the rose side there. We're going to go back to our geriatrics one, which should be coming, right? That should be something that we do. And that's interesting because we usually start off with a good prep. You know, we want a good sponge bath. We want, we want to put on our special, you know, the women wear their Victoria's Secret thongs. You know, the guy's wearing his double male John Wayne pants, right? And we're going, and it's fun because when they go into the fantasy suite on the geriatric side, it's interesting because they go in there very nicely, and they usually, sometimes they have to come up to each other like this, you know. But anyway, they get together, they hold hands, they go into the fantasy suite, and when they get in there, there's two lazy boy adjoining lounge chairs and a big screen TV with usually like Jeopardy or something like that on there. So the first thing that happens is the fight for the remote control. And you guys know, every guy knows, who's going to win control over the remote control? You better believe it. That's one of the rules of marriage. Who has the remote control? So, what I'm coming down to is there's something that I did that I believed was necessary for the safety of our children in California here. So I wrote that Nunez guy, whatever his name is up there, one of our representatives, and he agreed with me. So they're coming out with a public announcement to all the kids. And what I'm introducing is the use of a tongue condom when they're doing this kissing. And this way here, and he agreed that they're going to issue it from the 2nd grade all the way to college. Anyway, but that's a good one, the tongue condom. Anyway, that's all I got, my friends. So thank you.
Here's Joe. Come on, guys.